Initiation into Hermetics by Franz Barden. Right. Mass hypnosis of the fakirs. The mass hypnosis induced by Indian fakirs and jugglers, which meets with so many admirers, is no problem at all to the magician. The fakirs engaged in these performances generally do not know themselves how such phenomena are brought about, their secret being a matter of tradition handed down from one generation to the other. Supposing a certain spot, room, and so on is being loaded with the Akasha principle, all the bystanders are likewise pervaded by the Akasha too, and this principle will prevail in all of them. Whatever has been induced in the Akasha principle has to be necessarily realized, since Akasha is the ultimate cause. In the light of this law, the mass hypnosis produced by the fakirs performing their shows in front of a crowd can be understood without any difficulty. The magician can do exactly the same things. With a traditional word or a formula, the fakir calls Akasha into the room, transferring the pictures which the audience wish to see into this principle. By repeating this experiment so many times, it has already become automatical, so that the fakir has to apply neither the imagination and the Akasha, nor to the act the spectators want to see. It is sufficient for him to utter the Akasha formula to hold people spellbound, and afterwards he only needs to express the desired occurrence packed into short sentences or tantras and so on, in a low voice, in turns, and the audience will perceive one picture after the other in the same order. The fact that these formulas are genuine incantations sounds absolutely credible, since such a secret is traditionally handed down from family to family for hundreds of years. Not even the owner of such a formula does exactly know what sort of powers he is going to release. All he knows is this or that will happen if he expresses the respective words, and he does not bother his head about the cause of it. Performances like these are very much admired, indeed mainly by people who haven't got the faintest idea of the higher laws of magic. In India, such a performance of an illusionist is nothing else but a mere money matter. Making a snapshot of an experiment like this would bring about a great disappointment, because nothing at all would be seen on the plate or film, nothing of the marvellous scenes but the fakir and his partner sitting quiet there and smiling a polite smile. This seemingly miraculous experiment is easily explained in the light of the magic laws, and therefore it must be left to the individual to work at such things or even to specialize in them. But for the magician's development and rise, such experiments are absolutely useless. I only did mention them to put the magician in the picture and let him find the explanation from the magical point of view. I need water. Thought reading. A lot of publicity, fumbling my words, I do apologise. A lot of publicity has been made about the problem of thought reading. This seems to be a matter of course for the magician, and he is regarding it as a concomitant of inferior value for his mental development. Thought reading can be performed by pictures, intuitions, inspirations, and so on, according to the mental attitude of the magician. It is not necessary to underline the fact that a subject's thoughts can be read not only if he is close by the magician, but also at a far distance, which is nothing else but the result of working in the Akasha. Every idea, every word, and every act does find its exact pattern in the Akasha. CF, what's that? CF full stop, don't know. The chapter dealing with this Akasha problem. I guess it means find it. Perhaps. If the magician does concentrate on the spirit of the person in question, loading himself with Akasha, he can read the actual thoughts, and if he looks back with his innermost desire, he can also read the thoughts of the remotest past without any effort. As soon as he has achieved a certain skill in thought reading, after a rather long training, he will be capable to read any thought, even the most hidden one. The forming of thoughts is an intellectual or imaginative act. Imaginative thoughts are easier to be read. A perfect kind of thought reading can be obtained only if the magician has gained the absolute mastery over his spirit and therefore over his world of ideas too. This is the fundamental condition. Otherwise, he will be able to read thoughts only partially or only if they are effective ones. Thought reading is no problem at all. It requires the contact from mind to mind. The magician has to feel himself a spirit. The exercises of the previous step should have given him sufficient help in this direction. And all he needs to do is to establish the connection between himself and the person in question by imagining the subject's body and soul as not being there, in order to seize all the thoughts he wants to know. Psychometry. What's wrong with me? Psychometry means the faculty to read the present time as well as the past, and, if it should be essential, the future too, of any object, whatever, a letter, a gem, an antiquity, and so on, investigating all the events related at whatever period with this object. This ability is a concomitant of developed astral senses and easy to be managed. If the magician has undergone all the practical training taught during this course, and if he has learned how to use his astral senses in seeing, hearing, and feeling. All he has to do is to take the object which is to be investigated into his hand, or to put it on that part of the body which is important for the exploration. If he wishes to see the happenings in pictures, that means to investigate them visually, he ought to press the object on his forehead. If he wants to perceive them acoustically, he must put it in the region of the heart, and if he wishes to search out the object intuitively or emotionally, he must bring it close to the solar plexus. Or he simply holds the object in his hand. After concentrating on what he finally does want to know, he induces Akasha or a trance, and now he is capable to read the different events of the past, present, or future with his mental eyes, ears, or the feeling. The magician is also allowed to use his magic mirror. In this manner, he can, say, from an antique object, unroll all the events connected with it, like in a motion picture, and he will learn all related anyhow with the object. Naturally, he has got the opportunity too, from every letter addressed to him or to other people by persons known or unknown, to see not only the sender, but also the thoughts which happen to be in the person's mind at the given time. He can, to put it in a nutshell, read between the lines of any letter. To the field of psychometry also belongs the faculty to communicate with any person that came in touch with any object, because an object, no matter of which nature it happens to be, does always represent the connecting link between the body, spirit, and soul of the magician and the person in question. No doubt that the magician is able to read thoughts with the help of an object, even at the greatest distance. At the same time, he is capable to learn all about the psychical side of the person concerned and to detect the qualities of the character and the mental development in the world of Akasha without any effort. The same can be said, of course, about the material side, and he can fathom the past, the present, and the future once he has established the communication between his spirit and the one of the person with respect to Akasha. A variant of psychometry is psychography, but it is of little importance to a magician, which results from what I just have said. Through the connecting link, not only the sender of a letter can be detected in all phases of his existence, but the object itself can serve to establish the contact with the respective person, influencing him mentally or physically and psychically. From these arguments, it has become patent that psychometry is nothing else but a sub-variety of clairvoyance, which has already been dealt with in a previous chapter. Franz Barden's initiation into Hermetics. I'd usually do a take two on that kind of bumbled speech, but we had a rainbow, so I'll keep it